Yeah. Sorry, guys, I had to clean my screen. Hi, welcome, welcome. Oh my gosh, let me start by saying this is our appointment, and I'm happy that I'm able to meet it. We have missed a couple of days, and I must say, this is the best time to write a CEO level kind of book in 2025. And for OGs who are not here, or rather who are joining today, I apologize for not being here for like 3 days now. We are going to catch up back to back. So this is our 30 days in December business executive sessions, and it holds every 10 p.m. right from Nigeria. I'm streaming from Uyo in Nigeria, and as always, when you come into the stream, let me know. Thank you. Let me know where you're watching from so that I can also see your name and give you the shout out that you need. So we're going to have several series tonight, so relax and have a good ride. If you're just joining today and today is the first time of seeing me, you're welcome. My name is Chisom Motibeaka. I'm Nigerian, and I help CEOs, leaders, business executives to document their experience and their expertise in books, online courses, things that will help them leave a legacy, right? And I've been on YouTube for 7 years now, not on this channel though, but the fact that I have been here this long, and I know a few things about helping you to create money, income, opportunities, and using opportunities and businesses, right? And that's my expertise. So becoming a best-selling author is one powerful way for CEOs, executives, leaders. One powerful way you can establish your thought leadership. You can become top of mind, top of your industry, and all that. Thank you, Architect Utibeaka, for saying you're proud of me. When you're thinking about expanding your influence, especially this is just 4 days to the end of 2024, and I know there are a lot of plans. Some people are getting anxious already, like, oh my, I want to start on a good footing and all of that. But whatever it is that your plans are, mine is to let you know why writing a book this year, especially if it's going to be your first time, and you have been working, you have been doing a particular skill, providing services or selling products for the last 5, 10, 15 years, then you need to have a book, what I call a CEO level book, right? And that's what this live stream, today's topic, is about. I'm going to take you step by step on how you can create a book that resonates with your readers and helps you climb the bestseller list in no time, right? And it's not just about writing your ideas. I'm going to give you a guide so that you can kickstart this. This is my expert area, and you can trust me on this ride. So let's go. Number one thing you're supposed to do. Meanwhile, before I get there, I'm an author of about 6 books now. You can also check them out. I'll try and drop the link to my books and my online courses in the very first comment that is pinned as well. Okay, so the first thing to consider when you are thinking about writing a book is understanding why you're writing it in the first place. I think that's a no-brainer, right? So part of what you're considering is, why am I writing this book? Why do you want to write a book? Which is very important, because answering that question will help you with a whole lot. I mean, with everything, topic, focus, all that. Having it clearly will help you make decisions, like I have mentioned, what to include in the work, how you can even market it, case studies you need to use, all of that. Because when you decide exactly why you want to write the book, it helps you ask yourself questions like, do I want to showcase my expertise in this book? It helps you ask questions like, what do I want this book to help me build my personal brand? Do I want it to help me sell out one of my products? Do I want it to help me become an authority in a particular field, or be popular or famous for what I'm writing? Yes, is it going to help you get more people interested in your business? So those are very important. That's the first place to start, right? Really, what is the purpose of my book? Now, you mentioned, remember that when you find the purpose of your book, it's easy for you to align the content of your book to your audience, the people that you're looking at helping. That way, the content of the book will really, really serve them in that sense. Okay. Now, I remember when I wrote my book, Blog Your Way to a Dream Job. I was a blogger, 10 years gone in, and I knew I needed to share, how it has helped me. Leveraging blogging has helped me gain, top executive jobs. I had 3 top executive jobs because I was a blogger. Of course, blogging was my side gig at the time, but I got to become director of operations in a very powerful charity in Nigeria, owned by also a very popular politician. I was also, and these were jobs I got without having to be interviewed, all of those things. It was just recommendation. Oh, you're a blogger. We are sure you can help us push our PR, push our public communications, in that sense. So when I was writing that book, I was very, very, very clear about who I was writing for. I wanted to help the average young person who is job searching, who is probably working in low income jobs that that don't pay as much, to be able to use their blogging as a platform to get credibility, get people to trust them, and offer them high paying jobs without the hassles of going through interviews and brainstorming. Not that they will interview you, but in that sense, you already have something going for you. They already have, like, beyond your CV, they have your blog, so they can actually read your thoughts. They can actually read the value that you're bringing. And because that was something that helped me, I was able to write it in that book. And you can also read it if you want. I'm going to drop the link after this live goes published. Okay. So having clearly what you want to achieve with your book, who you want to address. Okay, we'll get there. It's very important. Then the next thing after deciding why you want to write your book, of course, is what should the title be? I hear some people say things like, you can write the title of your book much later. I don't think so. I don't think you can decide the title of your book much later, because how do you come about the content? How do you know? Okay, if you look at it this way, A to Z, right? Your book is to address from A to Z. What should be in B to Y is supposed to be, because you're already taking your audience on a journey, a particular audience that you've identified. So if you're going to get your title later, it means that your content is going to be sort of all over the place, and then you decide to nail it down at the end, which means you're going to be going back and forth with your writing. So having a clear-cut topic up front is very key, even if you have to retweak it at the time. But knowing exactly the topic will help you develop a very cogent, a very tight outline. And your topic has to be compelling. It has to be attractive. Remember, you already know the purpose of this book. You should now know why, or the kind of topic that will glue people to it. Yeah, you should reflect the insights on that you have about this book. You should also show that you want to solve a very pressing problem for the reader, right? Because CEOs are very busy people. Yeah, so when you are writing a CEO level book, people want to be sure that you're giving real value. In fact, they will expect that you're going to give real value. So that value has to be reflected in your title, right? Now, part of what will help you get a very good title is decide or find out what your audience, your ideal reader wants. Because if you don't, you might still not have a very tight, compelling topic, right? Well, how do you know how do you research your audience? Find out what their challenges are, right? Find out what their challenges are, what your ideal reader is struggling with, what questions they ask most frequently. It shows you that the direction of where their pain points are, or where they are, where they are struggling and really need the help. Thanks, Danny. Yeah. So, what questions do they ask most frequently? What problems or challenges do they face? That will help you to identify. Now, your book as a CEO should be able to address those core challenges that your ideal reader is facing, because that's the only way to show that you have expertise, you have solved this problem for a lot of people, for a lot of on the job, and they can trust you, right? Now, another very important thing I don't want you to forget, let's call it number 3, right? Please let your book not be about facts and figures and statistics and see. Wait. We live in social media age. We live in the age of micro influencers taking over, making billions. You don't want to give people what they think, what will make them not read to the end. You don't want your message to be written or to be documented but not serving the purpose for which it is documented. Because if people are not able to read it and apply it, it's not going anywhere, even if they buy the book by some sort. So what am I saying? Tell stories. You can never go wrong with stories, guys. Tell stories, those facts, those expertise, those things you're trying to communicate, storify them. Use case studies, tell real life stories, share your own journey a lot, and you're going to see how much people are going to be craving to know more, and people are going to read to the end, and the quality of testimonials you're going to get for your book is going to be fantastic. Guys, I'm catching cold. I think I need to get let me take some tea. Another day, another life, another country, another time. Even all after that, I listen to you. Stand here. Welcome back, Stand here. I remember you. Yes. I remember you truly. It's good to see you after a couple of days. Welcome back. Yeah. So writing a book is something you must do. I encourage you to do in 2025, right? And I'm telling you how to go about it. I remember this is my expert area. Any of the places you get choked or all that, just come here and drop a comment, ask your questions, and I'm going to answer them. If you want to reach out to me privately, reach my company, our email address is always in the comments in the description box, so you can always reach out to us, and then we do that for you, right? Facts and figures and statistics, yes, they're informational, but it can be boring, right? But stories inspire people. People see themselves through them. People see things. People learn better, when they hear stories. They can relate better. I mean, think about yourself when you're thinking about your ideal reader. The same things that appeal to you appeals to them. Use your real life stories. You will notice that by the time you think about stories that you want to tell for each of the chapters, or depending on what your book outline is like, you discover that you have a lot of life stories that you have not even used for anything, that are connected to the stories you want to tell in your book, or you want to use to explain the concepts in your book. Please bear with me, and I need to take more of this tea off because my environment is kind of cold. Yeah, so share your personal experiences to make your book very relatable and engaging. Also, in telling stories, make sure that you are authentic. See, don't say anything that is not real or didn't happen. Even if it didn't happen and you're trying to illustrate something, especially about yourself, be real and authentic. Stories that you've learned on your own life journey will hit differently. We'll get a lot of people reading to the end. We get a lot of people reacting and responding. Also include your success stories, the ones your readers will draw inspiration from or they can relate to, right? Now, when you're writing your book, make sure you structure your stories to have beginning, middle, and the end, because also a lot of people feel they tell stories but might still wonder why their posts or their books are not converting the way it should. Every story should be like every good movie. There should be a beginning, there should be a middle, and an end, right? That way people can listen to them. So no matter the number of stories you have earmarked for each of your book outline or chapters or chapters, make sure you also prompt yourself with how did it start, what is the middle, which always has the climax, and how did it end, so that you can hit the ground running fast, tell the story concisely, but also very in a way that the essentials are not lost. Okay, now number 4 aspect that you should look at is, because you're a leader, a CEO, an industry expert, you have the propensity to write your book with a lot of complex language and ideas, bringing up things that you think, in a way that you think you're in your boardroom talking to your board members. Remember that your readers may not be able to deal with your complex topics, complex illustrations and anecdotes. So break things down. That's what I'm trying to say. Simplify concepts, make it easy. I'm not saying water down what you're trying to communicate. I just mean make it easy for even a child to understand. That makes your book cut across a large demographics of people, right? A lot of people want to read the book and get the message. Your message will pass across even more, even when you're using stories of what happened, or you're trying to compare things, or you're trying to relate what happens in your environment. Use analogies and metaphors that people who read your book will understand, right? Instead of using abstract ideas, things like what kind of abstract idea can I give an example? Instead of using ideas that are abstract, use concrete examples that people can see in their environment to communicate that thing, rather than sounding esoteric and somewhat divine. Please don't sound Shakespearean in your book. Write as if you're explaining your ideas to someone outside of your industry. That's how to do it. So if you're writing a book on, maybe your expert area is engineering, any aspect of engineering, engineering is wide, please remember that or think about your book as a book you're writing for non-engineers who don't understand engineering terms and all that. I think that will really help, right? It will help you to communicate simpler and more engagingly. Okay, so let's look at the 5th aspect you need to consider when writing your CEO level book. Make sure that you bring the essence of you to your book in the way you sound. Have a very unique and distinct tone, or rather voice and tone in your book. Now, your tone and style of how your voice is, how people perceive you, or when people are reading your work, they feel like they know you. They get to know you better because they are processing your mind and how your mind works. So your tone and your style should reflect your personality and your brand. So don't copy anybody's style. Use your own style. Some people say, oh, I write the way I speak. Write that way. Your professional editor will do the rest. Write that way so that your essence of your personality is not lost while you're writing your book. If you're a very formal person, or you're a very conversational, gist-friendly person, let it reflect in your work, right? And maintain it throughout your work. Consistency is very, very, very important. Very, very important. If you don't know how to sound, find how you sound. Find your voice by writing. Write something for your own consumption, then read it and check whether you sound friendly, you sound approachable, you sound girl next door or boy next door, or you sound very authoritative and instructive, or you sound inspirational and motivational. You will find when you pay attention to your own writing. Okay. Also, you make sure that your language is kind of language that your target audience understand. Like if you're focusing on a particular people trying to solve their problem through your book, you can't be using language codes that they don't understand, right? So you make sure that your language resonates with your ideal readers. How to be sure and to fix all of these things is when you finish writing a part or all of it, read your book aloud. Read it to yourself. Read it to yourself like, are you authoritative? Read it aloud to yourself and hear yourself, hear your book. When you hear it, it's easy for you to begin. It's easier for you to make sure that it sounds naturally you. If there are choices of words that are not really you, you'll be able to fine tune them and change them and bring out an authentic book. Okay, now let's look at the sixth part that you need to consider when you're writing a CEO level book. Remember, it's not just any kind of book, a book that will stand you out in your industry, that would give you the heads up around you and all that. Focus on how your book is structured. Very important. By that I mean how it flows from chapter to chapter, from paragraph to paragraph, or from scene to scene. It's very important. When your book is well structured, your readers will hold on to it. They don't want it to finish. At the same time, they don't want to drop it. It's very compelling. I remember a friend of mine, or someone I used to know some years ago, who wrote a book called what was that? Bruised or so. I know it's a one word though, and the character in that book, act like me in that sense. It's a book of relationship and all that. But I've read that book in 2000. I wrote that book in 2017 or so, it's 18, and I've not forgotten that book till now. Like, I still want to go back buy copies of them because I can't find my main copy. I still want to read that book again. It's a fiction, well written by a Nigerian guy, and it's so instructive when it comes to the idea of relationship and marriage and all that. Very, very, I know it explored the theme of baby mama, dating married man, all of that, and the chaos that came with it. I still remember it till date. So when you want to write a book, make sure that the way it flows into each other, the ideas flow into each other, are easy to follow, interesting. There are techniques, and how you make sure this happens is by writing an outline for your work. If you want to write a book, please write an outline. An outline is like your ABCDEF, step by step, what you want to communicate in that book, or the storyline, right? So depending on whether you're writing a non-fiction or fiction, start with an outline. First of all, how you introduce yourself, in the introduction of the work. Make sure that that introduction is very captivating. It hooks the reader to continue reading. Also, as you're outlining, after your introduction in outline, you then go into the divisions of your content. Divide them into sections, chapters, scenes. What was that again? Scenes and acts. Yes, if you're writing a drama, whatever it is. So you look at what are you going to communicate in acts. Scene 1, Act 1, Scene 1, Act 2, and all that. What are you going to communicate in Chapter 1, and the subheadings in Chapter 1 and all of that. Very, very, very important. Up to this afternoon, I was still working on a book for a client, and the way we wrote the outline made writing the book very easy. Very, very easy, right? Now, after dividing your book content into sections like that, make sure that your outline ends with takeaways or things that they can act on, or it has a very compelling resolution or ending, right? So that outline helps you write series by. So you can also it even makes writing fun. When you're writing, you know where you're stopping and where you're picking up from and how to link them, right? So don't just write anyhow and put them together. Even if you're writing a collection of short stories, you will be able to write the title of the short stories and what each of the short stories are about, so that you finish writing, they have a clear beginning and end and all that. And every good story must have a beginning, a middle, or a climax, and then a good resolution and an end, right? In your book also, make sure you use headings. Don't just write an essay without a heading, without subheading, without bullet points, without visuals. Sometimes you need visuals, just to make it very interesting. Okay, that's for structure and flow. Let's look at the 7 parts you should consider when you're writing a powerful CEO level book. It's not because I'm an editor, right? Don't ignore professional editing. I needed to pause to say this. Over the years, if you listen to my other stories, you would have seen, I've had stories of woes. I mean, business and brought me money, right? Like, I shouldn't mind, but I need to warn you that if you ignore it at the beginning, right, still come back to it. So why not? So why not do it at first? Don't ignore professional editing at all. Write your book, edit by yourself, but make sure you send it off to a professional editor to finish it up. And my company, Logos Audibles, offer editing and proofreading services. That's what we have. Get our email to you. As long as you're writing in English, you can get your work ready in no time. Even if you're a very good writer, you still need an editor. Yes. Even if your work has been polished, you've read it over and over again, you still need a professional, right? It helps to enhance your credibility. People are able to believe you better when they see your work is flawless. I used to say, and you read the product label of that product and you see grammatical errors in the explanation, doesn't it make you feel like that product is fake? Yeah, same way, right? When people look at you as an editor, a leader, and they're reading your work and they're finding grammatical errors, blunders here and there, something in them just makes them lose, and they may have had a lot of respect for you, which is even why they bought the book in the first place. But then they're reading it and they're wondering, is either he or she used cheap vendors for his book? Why would he do that? Or he didn't write this book himself? Or you'll just lose some credibility, and that's not something you want. So make sure that your message is on point. It comes out pristine, to match your personality, right? So how to make sure that happens? Hire experts. Hire us at Logos Audible. Send us an email even if I still find out by themselves that they needed this, their work still needed some work, right? Because there are 3 key levels of editing. Sometimes some editors, I'm not giving a lot of work they can do professionally. So somebody might be very good with developmental editing and see everything on the macro level, but main errors. It happens because I have somebody in my team who is an expert in developmental editing and may not be able to spot grammar errors or spelling errors. So as their expertise, but some people just do the work on their own and they may not be able to spot some of the things, and it's not good for an editor to work alone and they don't factor all of that in. So sometimes there might still be some slips here and there. So it's not a bad idea to send off your book, your manuscript to another editor or another proofreader, just to be sure. It's not the same way you do in medicals, right? A doctor tells you, that this is what is wrong with you, especially when it's something very terminal or needs surgery. A third opinion, just to be sure, right? And to rule out, how it goes. Don't ignore hiring experts. Going for the best editors will always look at the big picture, the plot. How editors will look at the grammar, the spelling, the style, all of that. Proofreaders will look at all the final spelling and every other thing that needed to be cross-checked that may have been overlooked. Very important. Those 3 steps are very important. So if your manuscript haven't gone through that process, something might be missing, right? Don't skip proofreading. Those on your whole reputation. Okay, let's go to number 8. You need I think that's the last book I bought and I read 2 weeks ago. Ask before you speak. The writer did something very fantastic with that book, majorly because that book is design made it so easy and flawless to read. Tutorials were perfect, the fonts were on point, the structure, everything was just nice. So your book's book cover are very critical. See, it will help people to read it. Design must show that your book is quality. You can't have quality information, but your design is warped, your fonts are uninspiring or too tiny or too sloppy or have different colors. Oh my God, don't do that. your book will be able to attract clients, attract readers. I'm always saying clients, God, business must always attract readers, keep them till the end because of the flow, the structure, the colors, plus the information there. So let's start with your cover design. For you to invest in high quality design, you must look at the cover design of your book. See, that's what you're going to use to market. That's what people are going to see first. That's your book's billboard. You don't play with that. No, you don't. You just can't go get one template and just convert it to a book cover. No, it has to be telling. Your book cover has to be aesthetically pleasing. It has to draw. It has to make the person pick up the book and then flip the back to catch a major glimpse into what the book is more about, and of course go out and buy it. Ensure that your book cover is visually appealing and reflects your brand and who you are, your personality, right? It cannot be sloppily done. No, don't do that. Another one I almost always quarrel with people about is your interior formatting. That one for me is even, oh my gosh. If your interior formatting is poorly done, first of all, you might lose out some information. Secondly, it will be very difficult and tasking for readers to go through your book and read it to the end. If your formatting is wobbly, your font can make people whose eyes are not so sharp to ignore the book. If your layout is not clean, your book may not be readable. The spacing of your font are so important. I mean, so many things have to be considered when you're talking about your interior formatting. So you have to get that done properly. That's why you should use experts, right? Test different cover designs with your audience before you finalize on the one. That's why I see people who do that a lot on Facebook, say, okay, I'm writing a book, which of these 3 covers do you prefer? So your audience can tell you the one that they will go for. It helps. Okay, now let's look at number 9 section. You're writing a CEO level book. You're not just writing a book or just a recipe book, or just not like a recipe book is low quality, but you know what I mean, right? Lack of what, I don't know how to give an example of a low quality book, but anyway, when you're writing a CEO level book, people are expecting so much, and the value you give must be also, so it must blow their mind. It's strategy from start. This is what will make sure that your book becomes a bestseller or not. If you don't have a plan for marketing your book and launching it in particular, you will struggle with the sales. Straight up, you will struggle with the sales. You will struggle with the sales, right? This is how I do it. And the funny thing that I'm currently working on my team to help one of our clients to launch his work. His work is actually in launch phase. And I've used this strategy for a lot of my products, online courses, books, template, cheat sheets. Build a buzz about this book before you launch it. Now, when you start writing your book, start telling people about this book. Share behind the scenes, the things happening as you're writing this book. I mean, using social media, right? Show some people who want to have early access to the book. Offer them early access to read a part of maybe a chapter of the book. Choose some selected people. Share why you decided to write this book. Just give people the teaser in a way that they want to get this book immediately. Create that buzz, and your launch plan should be a plan from the scenes in creating it till the day people get the book delivered to them. In between the day you start and the day people get the book, there should be a proper launch date. A launch date is the day you give people access to begin to pay for the book and order for it. So you must get them into a wait list. Then they get to a day that you're going to make open 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 week space where they're going to pay in to order for those who are going to be early, what they call them now, early listers or early birds. Yeah, early bird offers for the book. Then they have a date where you're going to deliver it. Marketing is so important. Use your network, market across board. Make sure that you get everybody to know that this book is coming. Yeah, if you have to appear on TV, radio, podcast, blogs, news, okay, I mentioned radio, any platform at all, please use it. Use it to create a buzz that this book is coming, is launching soon. Very, very, very important. Now, the 10th part I want us to look at is when you're writing the book, to write this book, make sure that you can use your book to reach more, to create more maximum impact. Your book is more than just a product, it's a platform. You have to use your book to grow your business. This is very, very, very important, and this is something that is the core of what I talk about on this channel. Let your book be a leverage for you, be a platform for you to scale your business, to attract speaking engagement, to secure media appearances, to get collaborations, influencer deals, ambassadorial deals. It has to be, right? How do you do this? Create lead magnets, free gifts that people who subscribe to you or who get your, like, free, what they call this now? Yes, a free resource that you can give to people that that kind of preps them for the book, but in exchange they give they give you their email address. That way you can get their email address and then use the email address to send them the free gift. What that does is that they become people you can always reach out through email with. So creating an email list is important, but you must create a lead magnet, a free resource, a valuable free resource that will give them the idea that, if his or her real free resource is this valuable, then I wonder what the book would be like, and they wanted to invest in your book. Okay, now let me give you a pro tip. Use your book as a conversational starter with professional clients and partners. After you've written it, use your book for everything. I have a client who I edited her book last year in 2023. She has launched her book in over 4 or 5 countries now and several cities, and I'm so proud of how she has gone about her book. She's with her book everywhere. Her initial business is fashion and design, but she has carried being an author, very proudly, that and of course her book is about her business and her fashion and all that, so it tallies. That's the way you should do your book. Use your book to open conversations. Use your book to as your business card. Use your book to always keep attracting people to know more about what you have documented, that you have documented your expertise. Okay, so when you're trying to write a CEO level book and you want to get a bestseller, you have to have purpose in mind. You have to have strategy, and you have to be dedicated to it. You can have strategy, but if you're not willing to follow through your marketing and your strategy, it will work. Now, avoid all these common mistakes that people make with their books. Focus on value that you're delivering, and also make sure you craft your book in a way that it establishes you as a thought leader, and it will also, you always be remembered. If you're ready to get started with your book, especially you want to launch in the first quarter of 2020, the first step, of course, is outlining your books, the purpose, the target audience, everything that we talked about. If you need further help, let me know immediately in the comment section, and we're going to reach you out. If you want us to reach you, just send an email saying, I need the book consultation, and we're going to reach you out, and we're going to reach out to you immediately. Okay? All right. So it's been great talking to you about this. I'm going to go live on another topic soon. Come along with me and let's talk more on other aspects of your business for 2025. Okay? Bye. Thank you so much.